Okay. All right. Figuring it out. You guys should be able to hear me soon. All right. Wow. Make sure the audio's coming. All right. Can you hear me? How are we doing? I gotta say, this was absolutely just a wild experience for me getting this all right. YouTube and OBS, I did not set it up on my new laptop, and we had a time of it trying to get it worked out. Um, okay, I need to figure out some stuff here, which is okay. We're good. We're good on this part. The next part is how do I get the rest of the team on this call? All right, let me hop on over to Core Team Voice channel. All right. I'm in the Core Team channel. Barnabas is here. He's been patiently waiting for me to figure my life out for the last 10 minutes. 15 minutes, I guess. All right. I need to do a little bit more. I need to get this set up so that okay, I need to pop out this window here. And I need to use this so that you guys can see and hear Barnabas hopefully soon. All right, let's see. So don't show my own camera. Come on. All right. Um, okay. This stream is, I do not believe this stream is on Twitch, for various reasons. I'm gonna get my streaming set up back up to where it needs to be soon, and then we should be able to stream on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know what the resolution is like because I moved to a new monitor. Hopefully you guys are getting this in, at least 720p. But I did not get this all set up. How many people do we have? Do we lose okay, we got 5 people. So we didn't lose everybody in that whole shuffle. Um, if somebody can, maybe, or maybe I can, maybe I can go comment and tell people like, no, I can't. That other thing I linked people to that video is over. So hopefully they'll know to come back here. Um, okay, let's see. Oh, I just switched y'all to starting soon again. So here we go. Barnabas should be here. I think that it's doing. Yeah, this is my other desktop. All right, let me go on Do Not Disturb. Barnabas, can you say something and let's see if it's coming through? Yeah, it is really big. You're right. Here, how about this? How about I put my own video back in here? Um, no, not my desk view camera. Okay. Can I do, I don't think I can do both sources of video. Maybe I can use my other web. I don't even know. Oh, you know what? Show. Yeah. How do I show my own camera? There we go. All right. Now let me use my fancy camera. Somewhere, somehow. You guys, this is what the last like 20 minutes of my life was, 30 minutes of my life was trying to get this crap figured out. All right. All right. Well, I guess they're gonna see me twice right now because I'm also up in the top right, but whatever. I don't want you to have full screen big face. Okay, no audio from Barnabas. Let's figure that out next then. Um let's see. We have Mac OS audio capture. Oh, that's currently okay. Mac OS screen capture doesn't capture audio. So what I have to do is tell this thing to capture from Discord. All right, Barnabas, say something. Okay, they couldn't then, but maybe they'll be able to. Well, I actually, you were coming through the wrong. Why isn't okay? Okay. So, all right, this is some other problem, but it should. I've got you actually going through the setup that I use for for streaming the music on my own streams. Is how is what you're going through right now, but it should still come through now at some point. If somebody can confirm that they can hear you, then we'll be good to go. Um,
Mhm.
say something again, just in case.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, it looks like we have similar audio levels now.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So what happened, by the way, is my wife's like, hey, just FYI, your thing's starting in 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, yeah, right, right. And so I go to open OBS and I'm like, oh no, I'm on a new laptop. I haven't set up any of the streaming
Mm.
stuff. I haven't set up any of it. And so not even 30 minutes. I think I had 15 minutes maybe to uh rapid fire install OBS. I got my old laptop, which barely runs now because it's got liquid damage. It'll like turn on and then like chug for like a few minutes. So I had to go in. I had to copy over, like create an export of the files that I needed and do all this crazy crap, and then hook up Restream, hook up all of the devices and everything that it was just it was insane. But we're here now. So that's exciting. Uh,
Yeah, you got one of those fancy M4s now.
I do have the fancy M4s. All right. So I think before we'll do our standard thing here, which is we'll go over and like talk about what we're working on. And I'll let you start, Barnabas, because I need to pull up the newsletter because that's basically what I've been working on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been mostly working with Ash Oban lately, and I've done a couple PRs there to add some small features. And
Wait,
the
wait, wait,
other
wait, wait.
thing is,
Hold on. People are saying they can't hear you, but they can't be right. I see your
oh,
audio thing
well,
lighting up. Can somebody confirm now that they can't hear Barnabas?
hmm,
It should be audible.
that's strange.
This
So
this
going again.
chat lag is brutal.
Yeah,
Okay, we can hear him.
we're
Okay,
starting.
cool. They can hear you.
Oh, okay, great.
We're good.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so yeah, I've been mostly working with Ash Oban the last month, and I did a couple PRs there to add some more functionality, also around multi-tenancy. And the other thing is that I added for the Ash graphical installer, it also now installs everything you need to get started with subscriptions.
Very cool. Yeah, the subscript and that was released in yesterday with release day. So the installer should now include the subscription stuff, which is a piece. I think there's probably a lot of people who don't have any idea that we have even subscription support, just because it was kind of like hidden behind a beta flag before.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it'd be cool to see what people cook up with that in Ash GraphQL. Um, yeah. I've been working on so many things I don't even know where to start. Um, yeah, exactly. I clone myself on YouTube. That's how we get so much done. Um, yeah. So since the last time we met, the newsletter came up, and that is actually like a pretty good like. It's interesting because a lot of the things I would talk about now are kind of in the Ash Weekly newsletter. So let me just post a link to newsletter. So this is a weekly newsletter. It goes out on Fridays. If as long as I'm around to do it. And it's actually we kind of have some automation around it, so it gathers up all the change logs for all of the packages. Um, and there's a channel in our Discord server where people can drop things that or I can drop things that I think are important for going out in the next weekly newsletter. Anybody's free to post there if they want. Um, and so in that way, it's kind of automated to make sure that like anything, all the stuff should go out. Um, and the did that chat message actually work? Because I like sent it through Restream. Did it? Yeah. Okay. It did. Um. Okay. Uh. Yeah. So that's been really nice. It's got a lot of positive reception. I think people like having, and that was also requested at the last Ash office hours, was a way for people to keep up a little bit better. Um. So yeah, I think that's good. Um. What else? Oh, it's low. Okay, I'll turn Barnabas up a little bit higher, and we'll see how that goes. Um, yeah. What the hell else have we been doing? We got so much stuff going. Um, let me. Okay, let
Yeah,
me
still
go ahead.
pumping out new content for the book as well. You and
Yep.
Rebecca, or mostly Rebecca.
Yeah, mostly Rebecca. I fixed the bugs Rebecca finds. Yeah. Okay. So what else do we have? I'm actually. This is probably the best way. I'm just gonna look at the titles for the Ash Weekly stuff. Which is we have our new fancy installer, which has seen a lot of iteration and improvement. Um, we've made a lot of improvements to hex docs and searching, which is cool. I'm going to be putting this in the next newsletter, but we have a new Discord bot for searching hex docs. If you type /hexdocs into Discord, you can search and share GitHub search results, or not GitHub, Hexdoc search results. And I guess I can actually show how that works. Let me see. No, you know what? It's gonna be a pain to figure out how to show that. Let me see if I can do. All right, I can do this. Let me go to my. Oh yeah, you can see me here. This is my full Discord window. But I need to go. Can I make it maybe embiggen it? Yep. And then I'll go to like a bot testing channel. This is the same sort of behavior, but actually I'll just do it in the channel. Why not? So we can say hex docs, and then I can search for like integer.parse something, and it'll show me here in the chat links to hex, and then I can also, like, this is just private to me, but I can also then choose to share it to the channel like this to show it to everybody else. What you can also do is you can hex docs. I could search for like ash.changeset, and this isn't going to find anything because it's by default searches in Elixir, but I can also add packages. So I can search for this in Ash, and maybe Ash Postgres like this, and it'll search across those other packages, and then we can you can link to this, and then so this is really useful for like support. If you're like, I know this is in the doc somewhere, but I don't know, I don't want to go to hex and find the package and search myself. This is really useful in that regard. So all right, let me remove this from the stream. Back to Barnabas being big head. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's fun. How do I minimize this window now? What else we have? We have a new release date process, which is also part, in the newsletter, but Monday or Tuesday every week. It's usually shaping up to be Tuesday. I'll ship all the packages that haven't been shipped. Codebeam US training is coming up like next week. We have a 30% discount code. You can find it in the newsletter. We've released the testing chapter, the nested forms chapter for the new Ash book. That's out in beta. You should go and get a copy if you really want to learn Ash. It's the best way to do it. Oh my god, there's so many announcements. We've added log out everywhere features for Ash authentication that will automatically revoke all tokens whenever somebody changes their password. We had a security vulnerability that was reported for Ash authentication for token for like Magic Link tokens were reusable longer than they should have been, which has like, I think there's a limit of like 10 minutes or something. Like in general, it's not a massive security issue, but it was a security issue. And so we filed a CVE for it, make sure that everybody knew what was going on. And then we made sure, we made tools for people to upgrade. What else? Improved sorting syntax. We have this, fancy new sort syntax here where you can just use dots inside of the fields you're sorting on to sort on related fields. And you can, this is, pretty useful stuff. What else do we have? Oh yeah, Ash admin type ahead. So now when on Ash admin, you can configure a label field. And when this, you'll see this video, I didn't record this. This was somebody else other than me did this, which is really awesome. And so they have like these belongs to relationships, and there's a label field configured on the destination of it. And so now that shows like a drop down for the potential people that it can be, and it can also show a type ahead depending on how many results are found. So if we find like too many, then it'll do a type ahead like that. So that's really exciting stuff. Alrighty. I think we have like a ton of other like individual things that happened, but I think those are the broad strokes for the last month. So yeah, do we have questions? I think that's probably the best place to start. What do we got? How many people are here? Okay, we should have some questions.
In the meantime, you also do a training in Portugal in about a month, right?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. So we have the training at Codebeam, which we have a discount for, but there's also the training at AlchemyConf in Portugal. So I'm giving a talk in a training there. Yeah, if you're closer to Portugal, you should definitely head on over to AlchemyConf. Okay.
There is a question. Yeah.
Here we go. We got it. How can you allow end users to build customizations of your app? This is a very, very, very broad question. What I'm assuming you're getting at, based on, because I think I know what you're building. You're in the Discord, you're building like an ERP system. And what you're talking about is, and maybe you should confirm this for me before I dive into it, but is like things like custom fields. So like you want to have, this user wants to have like a custom field on X type of inventory that is like, a string field or whatever. Is that right? Is that kind of what you're getting at by build customizations of your app? And then the 30-second YouTube lag is gonna kick in here.
Yeah, it makes conversation hard.
I know. I think there's a way for me to actually improve that. I can like crank up the latency or something. I don't really know how it works, but you can tell I don't stream often enough to get this right. Got it. Okay, so you're also talking about you're talking about also like customizations of the UI. Right. So ultimately that's not something that Ash really like helps you with. It doesn't stop you from doing anything like that. And actually it may provide some useful tooling. But an example is like you would have, like a JSONB object likely on your, inventory thing, your inventory resource that has like, custom fields. And then you would likely, when you're validating it, you would go look up like, okay, well, what's the customer, and go look up what their schema is, and then you would validate it yourself. And when displaying it in a UI, you'd also then have to look at your own spec for, what are the custom fields, and like, so it's really like, it's not anything that Ash especially contains that lets you do this. There are the things that I think you will have
that will be useful is if you model like those field types at, like, let's say there's a field type of like a string or an integer or whatever. When you go to validate them, you can use the built-in Ash types. Like you can use like ash.type.cast input and all that sort of stuff. So you can use that sort of thing. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be kind of on you, I guess, to figure out what that looks like for you. Okay, so Ash admin needs a way to let me create a template. Yeah, so there's kind of a reason we haven't done that. We don't. Ash admin is intentionally not very customizable right now. It's like a super admin dashboard, and it's a super admin dashboard that if we want to rebuild something, that's designed to be a build, like a UI builder for admin UIs, as opposed to try to like back it out of what Ash admin is, which is basically like a push button, very low config, full, do anything in your app type thing. So something like that will probably come, just probably not inside of Ash admin. I mean, I'm accepting PRs though. If you want to make a way to do custom pages in Ash admin, like, and somebody else wants to put in that work, like, I'll do it, or I'll accept the PR. That's fine. But I'm not going to personally do it. Yeah, yes, I am saying to put custom stuff into JSON. There's really no other way to do. I mean, you can do it like XML or something, but like JSON is I would suggest that by far the easiest choice, and has the most like built-in tooling in Postgres is, in Postgres functionality to build off of, as opposed to something like XML. So yes, put custom stuff into JSON. It's really your only option. Well, okay, I say it's your only option. There is a design pattern whereby it doesn't have to be your only option, where like you have to be maintaining like a database per customer to do it, where it's like whenever they add a custom field, you like actually modify your own database, that sort of thing. You actually modify the database for that customer, but like nobody really does that, because it's really simple at first, but then it's like if your customer wants to change a type of a field, you have to like run a database migration, and there's all this like complexity that you kind of don't want to opt into. I mean, I might, but yeah, there's pros and cons to modifying the database like that. The pros being that you can actually have equivalent performance, like you can drop an index on it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of complexity. I wouldn't start there probably. I would start with JSON. Ken is asking about Ash 4.0. What's the plan behind that? Okay, so we don't have like a concrete plan. It's probably not going to happen until maybe, I would say it's at least like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months out or something. Like there's ultimately like there's enough to do that doesn't require a 4.0 release. But 4.0 in some ways will be similar to Ash 3.0, which is like we had all like most of the stuff that was in 3.0 was already available in 2.0. It's just had a bunch of like configurations that were different than we wanted it to be, like, so it wasn't the default behavior and different stuff like that. So really the switch to 3.0 was just making a certain set of breaking changes that had to happen. 4.0 will be similar-ish in that regard, in that it's like we're not holding any features back for 4.0, and there's no, unless there's some very good reason we can't do it in 3.0. The big difference is that 4.0 is going to come with an upgrade script. It's going to have a lot of time and effort invested in its upgrader, so that you should, theoretically, there may be some things you can't do with the upgrade script, but theoretically we should just be able to run like mix ash.upgrade or mix igniter.update and say to update ash to 4.0, and it'll like rewrite your code base to apply any changes that are necessary, which is going to be pretty cool when we do it. So yeah, that's the real plan. We have a lot of things now actually that have stacked up that we say, hey, we're probably going to do this in 4.0. So my head is now thinking like, okay, we are probably going to have a 4.0. You know, I was kind of thinking early on in the 3.0 is maybe we just never have a 4.0, but there are enough changes that would be breaking, so we'll have to do that. All right, what do we got? Any more questions?
I didn't see any coming in.
Do we have any in Discord? Can you check for me?
No.
Okay. I mean, I guess that means we can go. Is that what I'm hearing from chat? Like they don't have anything. There's nothing they want from us. Cause well, I'll turn this stream off. I will turn this stream around, children. You guys like my new video background? We set up bookshelves. They even have like
Nice.
fancy lights above them to like light it at night. Pretty cool. Okay, anything in Ash that helps with the spaghetti code of live views? Well, I guess my answer to this question is kind of like a two-pronged answer. Writing live views is like its own. I mean, the first answer is no. Like there's I mean, like we have like ashphoenix.form and stuff like that, but forms aren't typically the source of like mega spaghetti code. Usually it's like your like all of your nested live components sending updates and blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. That's usually where a lot of that comes from. And having nicely defined actions instead of putting logic in your live view, like generic actions in your resources, etc. All that sort of thing can really help. But otherwise, yeah, I would say like you might have to elaborate on what kind of thing you would want help with, because live view isn't inherently a spaghetti code type thing. It's just a new paradigm that not very many people are used to working with, I think. And so don't have the same patterns for despaghettifying it. I mean, theoretically, well, from if you're building an ERP, then there is something that can help, which is for you to derive your views from resource definitions and stuff like that. That could probably help. Instead of, you can talk to Frank Dugan about that. He does that sort of thing. He just derives his UI from resources plus extensions that determine how the page works. That can help a lot if you have a certain kind of UI.
So,
Good.
not just answer the question. This is not important.
Okay. So it's not something that like this is something you have to do. You have to write all of the code and patterns yourself. But the general idea is like you would write like maybe a resource extension, or just somewhere you would store some configuration, some data structure that says here's what this resource looks like when you put it in a UI, and you would derive a lot as from the resource itself. And then your live view would look like look at what route I'm at, look at what type of thing it is, and then it would use that introspection to say like, okay, well, what are the rules of this resource? How do I display it on this page? So you really end up having like you have like one page for displaying a thing that reacts to configuration, which is kind of the data oriented version of how Ash does. Like that's the whole point behind Ash, is like you define your app as data, then you can derive things for it. That's how Ash Admin works, right? Ash Admin gives you a UI that just looks at the action to say, well, hey, what are all the inputs? How, what's the result of it? What's the type of the action and all this sort of stuff, and builds you a UI for it. So that would be you could build something sort of along those lines. What were you going to say, Barnabas, earlier?
I was just wondering if the training in Braga is actually the last one planned for this year.
It is the only one planned or it is the last one currently planned for this year. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't know if we'll do another one or not, but that is the last one that we currently have planned. So yeah, you guys got to get your tickets. Like we're not going to run the same training forever. People really like this, so get in on it. Chaz asks, should you avoid calling your domain's code interface from within the domain's resource actions so you don't run into compilation cycles, or can you break out those actions into a separate module to avoid the compilation cycle? It should not cause a compilation cycle unless it is done like in the resource module itself. You should be able to put that into a different module to not have the problem. And actually, I remember thinking that there was something we could do. Are you saying you get a compilation cycle if you have like a run function or like a change function that's an inline anonymous function that calls into your domain, that calls a domain function? You're saying that gives you a compile cycle? Because I could have sworn we had something that we could do about that where we could turn those dependencies into runtime dependencies. I thought we did that even. Okay. You should definitely be able to fix it by putting it into a different module, but we should maybe look at what we can do to magic that away. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people who aren't going to realize that they've done that, and that they're going to have a problem if they do it. So, yeah. Okay, Ken's asking about Ash AI. What could be the end goal of that library? Yeah, so there's really two things we have in mind for that right now. The end goal would look like this effectively. You bring in Ash AI, you get you get a couple different things. You get an extension that allows you to vectorize attributes on changes so that you can, and it provides a vector search action. You get the ability to define what actions to expose to AI agents. And then you get an MCP server, tooling for building an MCP server for your application where your actions that you automatically have, like the actions that you configure, will just be like exposed as an MCP server. There's some complexity there because like MCP, as far as I know, there's not like authentication stuff. So it's like, yeah, we there's some stuff we would have to figure out, like how do you figure out who the user is, et cetera, et cetera. And probably you can't. So it's like you can only make a certain kind of agent, or maybe your app has to run locally for this to make sense. There's a lot of different angles there. But the most important thing that Ash AI provides is generally just what does this action look like as an AI agent tool call, which is really just Open API schema, like JSON schema, not Open API, just JSON schema. But put that all together and you have like a tool set for building MCP servers, for building like AI agent chat windows where you can expose your resource actions as tool calls and all that sort of stuff. So I would love to have more time to work on it. But I am constantly slammed, and I get a couple hours every couple weeks to sit down and make that package better, as is always the case. But yeah, that should be like the vision for it, is basically tooling for MCP servers and for chatbots. It's not going to come with a UI likely to make a chatbot in your live view app or anything like that. All right, folks. You got to keep the questions coming. See, you guys have to remember, you have to understand, this YouTube chat lag is horrible. And what it means is if you wait until we're done answering a question to ask another question, then we're all going to sit here looking like doofuses for 30 seconds waiting for the next question to come in. So you don't have to wait. You can just throw them in here. We'll go back and we'll see them. You don't have to wait for us to be done. I have not worked with Sean on Ash Swarm. I don't know anything about it. But I know vaguely, kind of what he's mentioned that he's working on. but beyond that, I don't know much about it. Are you asking me if I want to contribute to your project? Oh my god. Do you know how many projects I have? Like, you get out of here. I mean, I've been talking about this. I don't know, people don't realize, like, somebody found this out from doing analytics on Hexdocs, but I have personally published over more than 1% of all versions of packages that have ever been published to Hex. Just me. Like, think about that for a second. That's crazy. And it's like not even really close. Like I think the most published package of mine has like 300 more versions than other. I mean, that's mostly just because I release all the time, and that's a little crazy, but yeah. AI agent for, yeah, I mean, maybe there's some overlap there. I think that what the tooling that I'm working on would be kind of like much slower, or like much lower level, like I don't know, like just general tools for you to build some AI tooling into your application however you saw fit, that was based on your actions. I don't think it would necessarily, it's not going to be like a, I don't know, like a, I'm assuming by the name Ash Swarm, like this like fleet of AI agent to go and implement your application logic or something like that. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be much more simple tooling that you can use to build whatever you want on top of your Ash app. I mean, look, and I got to be honest here, guys. The robots are still stupid. Like, I've been saying this for a while, but like when you give like your app that has like some relatively complex domain over to an agent, they're still not that good, actually quite bad at like using it on behalf of a user. Like, I know that there's a big difference between one-shotting it and like getting something that's actually that's trained. But it's still like, yeah, it's pretty difficult to, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what that would look like in practice. I mean, I have some concept of it, I guess, but I have a concept of a plan. But yeah, what Ash AI is something completely unrelated, I think, to that. Ultimately, it's, yeah, just basically like the simple additions to your resources to make them ready for working with AI. I guess, can I call them LLMs? Can I stop calling them AI? I shouldn't have called it Ash AI. I regret it. I regret it already. I should have called it like Ash LLMs or something. Oh. But honestly, that's what I was trying to say, though. When I was saying like the robots are still pretty stupid, the truth is, I am building this because I know a lot of people want it. A lot of people's bosses want it, and a lot of people's product teams or whatever want them to build them some chat AI inputs. And I don't think I would put one of these on top of one of my own applications. Like, even the good ones I've seen, like, are still kind of. But I'm gonna be happy to see. Happy to be wrong. Maybe the robots will get smarter. Maybe somebody will, whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The main thing, we also don't really do the prompting. We primarily do the tool call exposure. So you can say, send a prompt to an AI and then say like, here's all the actions in my app that you might want to call. And then you get like the tool calls for the actions in your app. So if you have an app that has like, create a business lead, for example, then you could, you can say, hey, here's the user's chat message. Here's the tool calls they have available to them. What do you want to do? And then maybe the AI agent would say, hey, well, we should create a business lead, right? Like, you can use your actions. So that's basically what it is. Yeah, there's AI and everything. I watch MLS Soccer, and they just released a new MLS app, and I was looking at something, and it was like tucked away in the corner. It was like some kind, I forget exactly what it said, but it was like an MLS AI agent. I was like, what the like, why does my soccer app need an AI agent? Just, oh my goodness. It was just so wild. I gotta plug my camera in. All right,
I
next
never
question.
really had a good experience with an AI chatbot yet.
Same.
If I mean, the chat GPT and stuff, it's really nice if you want to explore something and it can give you something, but then you also expect it might not be right. But if I really want help right now because I have a problem and I'm stuck with some kind of chatbot that doesn't do what I want, that's really frustrating.
Right. Yeah. Oh, hey, Eileen. Eileen says there are use cases. Yes. Okay. I want to be super clear. I'm talking about one specific application of LLMs right now, which is using them as operators of your application. That's what I have not seen them be very good at in my own experience yet. So we've all seen LLMs do a lot of really useful things, like even just producing code. I use LLMs regularly for writing a certain kind of code. Or like when I have, like, if I'm writing like a bash script and I'm like, how do I check if an environment variable is set to a particular, I'm like, I don't remember it, and I don't need to Google it because, you know, I've got a little AI thing. It's going to tell me how to do it, right? Like, why would I bother? So I'm like not bearish on LLMs. What I am what I am concerned about is currently that we're putting them in places where they aren't actually all that well equipped to be, and then having them like do things on behalf of users when they're often driving to a worse experience. And so operating complex, like larger domain models of applications is an example where I've not found them to be super good yet. And that's kind of what you have when you get like a chatbot that's supposed to help you, like, how do I file my taxes or whatever, right? And it's like, it demos really well because you can show stakeholders like, look, I asked this question and it gave me this answer that was non-obvious, right? But then when you actually like are like, okay, I need to fill out this form that does, you know, it's like when you get into like the things that are hard for humans, because like the things that are easy for humans are also easy for the robots. I don't know. My point is there's still a long way to go there. And that's what people want out of Ash AI for the most part, right? They have their AI app and they're like, I want to build a chat bot with capabilities. And I'm like, you know, if you simplify the capabilities, you can get something really useful, like a weather service that displays the weather, not a complicated domain, right? And so that's like, I think that's the main thing. So we'll see how it goes. I'm building it anyway because I do believe that the robots will get smarter, and I do believe that people can use the tooling to build things that are better than, you know, what I have seen. I just am still like, I'm pointing out that I'm not building it because I'm trying to say this is how all apps should do things now. Like, I'm not building Ash AI to jump on the AI train and say like, yeah, your app should be a chatbot. Like, that is not my opinion. Yeah, we'll see. Y'all, the questions are slow today.
Still a bit early for you guys over there, right?
Oh, it's noon for me. Well, 1 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing for me is like, there's a lot of people like, yeah, I don't know that there's a lot of people using LLMs to write code and they want something out of Ash. Yeah, I just want an AI agent that knows Ash better than I do. Okay. You can do that. You can make it better than it is. I can show you what it looks like. Let me hold on. Let me open it up. Okay. So you can use something. This is just an example that I was doing with Notebook LM. But you can use hex to text to, let me make this bigger. Oh, gave me a crappy mobile UI when I did that. Okay. So you can use hex to text. Wait, am I sharing this? Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you can drop in packages and whatnot. And then, like, I don't know, what's an example
question that a beginner might have, like let's say like, show me an example resource that uses change set hooks to do stuff before and after the action. So this pulled it from our docs. But I mean, this is true. This is real. Like it didn't lie to me. You show me an example, an action, like let's say like a create action that uses this to create another thing after the first thing is created. Look, that's right. So, yeah. So the thing about like something for Ash, like Chris McCord has been showing off on X, that I don't think that what Chris is building is actually about something that knows Phoenix really well. What he's building is like a framework to work with an agent on your application, kind of like things like Cursor and stuff like that, that gets put on, that can run in, it's like isolated environment, so you can make it like YOLO mode and that sort of stuff. And so this is Notebook LM is what this is called. It's a Google product. This is wrong. So it's, still lies, but I don't know. No, there's a lot of wrong things here. Yeah, see, I don't know. This is better, I guess, than some things, but still super wrong. But the point is, give your agents context like these things, and they will do a better job. That's the real thing I was getting at. Not again, not trying to recommend this one particular tool. So yeah, what Chris is building, again, I think is kind of something a little different, which is, it's not about that it knows Phoenix really well. I think that's the LLM's job. It's its own thing that, for it to do Phoenix and Elixir stuff. Maybe it's trained a little bit, but the real thing is is having it on a loop modify your application and your Elixir application, etc. So I think my point is, whatever that is going to work with Ash just fine. I don't think that it's going to be LLM powered Ash Premium support. Hey, fun fact, that's not me answering. Oh, getting some kind of alert. What is that? Some kind of like natural disaster alert or something. Hang on.
Oh.
It's probably like an Amber Alert or something, and I'm not getting it. It is an Amber Alert. That's horrible, by the way. I'm not trying to say that that's not sad, but for those who don't live in the United States, an Amber Alert is, you get an alert on your phone when a child has gone missing somewhere, and it tells you to look out for like a certain vehicle, or like these kinds of people or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, LLM powered Ash Premium support. We have actually talked about potentially like indexing, like providing some sort of like LLM in some way, but I mean, it's just gonna be a worse experience. But like, we've had conversations about like, could we provide like something that is indexed on, a bunch of stuff, and that we train on good answers to questions and put a bunch of effort and time into, that can be like a first line support of like, it'll still ping us. It'll still ping a human being like immediately, not like make you jump through the hoops with a robot. But it would be like, while you wait for a person, maybe these things will be helpful. I think that's like a decent example of like having a chatbot that is useful, is like not trying to get in your way and slow you down on your way to real people, but something that's like, okay, I've pinged the team. Here's some stuff I found. Maybe this is useful. We could do that, but I mean, at the same time, it's going to send people down the bad track. It's going to waste their time.
Like it's going to be like, oh
Mm.
yeah, you can do this, and then they're going to go try it, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, sorry, that was a lie, you can't do that. So we're probably never going to do it. I mean, that's what you're paying for anyway with Ash Premium support. It's like to not waste your time on going down the bad path. Ken says maybe I didn't feed it enough docs. I fed it all of the docs, so whoa, what's going on with my camera?
Somebody also asked, what is hex to text?
It's like I don't know what's going on with my camera right now, but text to text is it's like a thing that turns a hexdocs package into a single markdown file.
Can I just do that? But is there like an URL for every hexdoc package that I can?
Yeah, it does it like live or something when you
Yes.
request it.
Okay.
So it just you pick any package and do llms.txt, and I think it uses like JavaScript or something to make the I forget exactly how it works, but yeah. All right, folks, we're an hour in. If you don't have any more questions, then we're gonna call it here. I don't know why my camera's all screwed up. On okay, we fixed it. Although this is funny, I've been on 2 separate camera angles this whole time. I didn't even realize. So the way, if you want to, you can't just like, okay, if you have that URL, you still have to, I don't know, whatever it is, has to be able to like pass the contents of a file or a URL into it. It's like it's up to whatever AI tool you're using. So like for ChatGPT, for example, you can drop a URL in and say, go look at this or whatever, and it'll go like pull up that URL, and then you can say, okay, now answer this question. On like at least some of the models, and if you're using like a text thing or like a text editor like Cursor or Windsurf or whatever, they have ways where you can like drop a URL in as context or something. So whatever that is, that's how you would use it. I don't think you would like manually paste it into a prompt. All right, we're calling it. Love y'all. Had a good time. Thanks for showing up.
See you next month.
Yeah, sorry for the rocky start. I'll do another stream or something this month just to like write some code, and then I'll use that to work out all the kinks in the streaming setup. So next time it'll be a little bit better.